Hey guys, welcome to our webinar about our co-impact sourcing expeditions to Nepal. We are recording both for our March 24th group as well as our April 7th group. So just really quick on the agenda for our webinar, we're going to do some welcomes and introductions to our team. We'll go ahead and have Jared talk about co-impact sourcing. We'll go through our trip overview, and we'll talk about kind of your overall expedition experience. Okay, so quick introductions. Myself, Alyssa Balzotti, I am the Director of Events at dōTERRA and one of the expedition leaders. I will not be joining you on the March 24th trip. I wish I was, but I will be joining the group in April. I'm excited about that. Tim is not actually with us today, but Jared Moon, our Manager of Strategic Sourcing, is, and he is over the Nepal area, so he is very knowledgeable about our co-impact sourcing there in Nepal. Jared, do you want to say hi?
Hi, everyone. It's good to be on with you.
We also have Ryan with us. He is with Choice Humanitarian. He is our main expedition leader on our trip, and he will be in Nepal for all of our trips, actually. So he will be well-versed in Nepal, and he has been to Nepal many times, so he's a great asset to our team as well. Ryan, do you want to say hi real quick?
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm excited to be with you all the expeditions. Feel free to reach out at any point in the expedition to ask questions, concerns, whatever you need. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Great, thank you. All right, so let's jump in here real quick. So I want to, you just heard a quick hello from Ryan, but I wanted to talk to you a quick note about Choice Humanitarian. We have chosen Choice Humanitarian as one of our partners in our co-impact sourcing model, as you know, and as Jared will talk about. We're very careful about who we pick, ensuring that we are choosing partners who are in line with our mission and who follow kind of the same ideals that we follow, which is a hand up, not a hand out. And Choice Humanitarian certainly follows those models and has been with us for a couple years now in Nepal and Guatemala. So I'm going to turn the time over really quick to allow Ryan to touch base kind of on those items, it might be Jordan jumping in, sorry, on kind of a quick thing about the Choice Humanitarian model and why we've chosen to partner with them.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, Jordan. It's Jordan.
My name is Jordan. I work here at Choice Humanitarian. I'm the Director of Expeditions. I work closely with Ryan. And as Alyssa mentioned, we are thrilled to be a co-impact sourcing partner for dōTERRA in both Guatemala and in Nepal. And as just a brief summary, Choice Humanitarian has been around for over 30 years. And we have a model of development that relies heavily on local leadership and staff to train and organize communities in all of the countries in which we operate. And so those communities work really hard to strengthen their capacity to carry out programs and projects that they identify. And on that note of how communities achieve that, and also by means of introduction to you all, in Nepal, you'll have the opportunity to work very closely with our in-country team. Under the direction of Pratik Sharma, who's our in-country director. This team represents the boots on the ground that does all of the community training and organizing and ultimately project implementation for every program and project that Choice has in Nepal. And one of the exciting things is that this team is also going to work very closely and has been working very closely with us on the preparations for this expedition. So every trip with dōTERRA is led by dōTERRA, also with Choice Expedition leaders, but really under the direction, support, and management of an entire team based in Nepal. And so they will become dear friends of yours. They also support all of the cooking, transportation, logistics, security, and safety from the minute you arrive in country until the minute that you depart. So we put them up there by means of introduction so that you know there's a wonderful family supporting this trip starting a long time ago, and they're very eager and excited to meet you all. And they're just an example of one of the 7 teams that exist in all of our countries. And as I mentioned, as a summary, in all of our countries, this is really the model of development that you will be participating in. So Pratik and his team have been working very closely with Raznalu, the community that you will be supporting. They've worked to help train and organize that community leadership so that the community itself can identify their greatest needs, and we'll learn about the project that you'll be participating in, but it's an earthquake reconstruction project that was identified by that community. And Pratik and his team helped train and organize that community to develop a plan to execute that. And that's really where expeditions fit in. Our in-country teams work with dozens of communities in every country, and not every community has the opportunity for an expedition. But for those that do, expeditions become a powerful opportunity to accelerate the community development taking place, and also celebrate with that community members what it means to have people from many cultures come together, support one another on a common goal. And so that project work and celebration will be a big part of your experience, and it's a big part of our choice model of development. And so with that, I think we'll turn it over to Jared to introduce some of the co-impact sourcing model and how that fits into our approach.
So as we know, our focus in Nepal is a model of sourcing that we call co-impact sourcing, where we're looking to benefit the lives of the suppliers and partners that we work with. You can see here on the slide, there are 4 basic guiding principles to all of our sourcing strategies and for all of our oils. And then those co-impact sourced oils include these additional guiding principles to ensure fair labor conditions, promote cooperatives and partnerships within a supplying community, ensure environmental stewardship, and facilitate community development. And these are all critical to our wintergreen project in Nepal. It's important that we develop these relationships and work with partners on the ground, Choice being one of them, to facilitate and carry out these 4 additional co-impact source steps. In terms of co-impact sourcing, we're working on a broader scale to organize and bring communities together and the different players in a supply chain, or in this case, wintergreen. We're bringing the community together to improve how they're harvesting and making sure that it's done sustainably. And then because of that, we're getting a higher quality oil that we then in turn are able to pay a premium for. So that generates higher incomes for those who are harvesting, as well as the distillers themselves, and makes our buying demand creates a more predictable and long-term partnership that allows these harvesters and distillers to plan and promote further community development. And then we couple that relationship with our co-impact sourced oils with the Healing Hands Foundation, which allows us to benefit a community in a much grander and larger way. So it's a win for the community, it's a win for us as a company, and it's a win for all of our wellness advocates who are getting a much higher and much higher quality product. Wintergreen in Nepal is was and is one of our first co-impact sourced oils. We had wintergreen before, and it's been our pleasure to transition that to Nepalese wintergreen, which is a huge benefit for the community members that are participating in supplying us with the beautiful leaves that come from the wintergreen. It's a very low yielding oil, and so it requires a lot of work and therefore a lot of coordination. And so we're trying to reach to new communities, but the communities that we are engaged in are greatly benefited by our work with them on the ground. So sustainability is a critical concern for us, and we're training and working with harvesters as well as community forest groups that run and manage the operations, or the land operations, so that all our work is done sustainably and in a way that will assure a continued supply of wintergreen moving forward. And then coupled with, again, our Healing Hands Foundation, we have been working to bring relief to Nepal and the Nepalese people from the tragic earthquakes that have hit Nepal in such a hard way in 2015. And so we're excited by all the partnerships that, all the work that we have done with our partner Choice on and bringing that relief and benefit back to the community. So that's the rundown on co-impact side of things. It'll be exciting for you all to feel kind of the energy that we have in that project and see the impact that it's having.
Great. Thank you, Jared, so much. We're excited to have Jared jump on for that call, and he will also be in Nepal on a couple of our expeditions, so we're excited about that as well. So we just wanted to talk really quick about the expedition experience in general. And I love that Jared talked about the Healing Hands piece of this. Obviously, that's a huge, huge piece of us at dōTERRA. And, you know, your funds are going directly to help these projects. And as we talked about, we partner with Choice on these projects because we fully trust them and understand that their expertise in these projects is invaluable. And so it's great to have a partner on the ground where we know that our funds are being taken care of. We were able to actually finish the first school to be completed since the earthquake last year while we were in Nepal. So really, you're going to have an amazing experience with kind of those projects, which we'll talk about a bit later too. Just wanted to kind of go through the expedition experience. The biggest thing that we ask from you guys is flexibility. So there are some things that we know and some things that we don't know. Please know that as a leadership team, our goal is to create environments for you to truly have a life-changing experience. And with that comes sometimes where we're going to need to make decisions based upon you know, some things that are sometimes unknown at the time for us. And so just please, we ask that everybody kind of goes into these trips with the idea of flexibility and understanding the pieces of that. So, you know, things that we do know, trip itinerary, we've sent you, again, flexibility on that. Sometimes we do need to make adjustments from those trip itineraries. Our team, we have an amazing leadership team that will be joining you in Nepal. We've got some great corporate guests as well on each of our trips. Great food. I will say that every time I think I'm going to lose weight on an expedition, I just gain weight because the Choice ground crew feeds us better than I think I eat at home. So just be prepared to have an amazing experience food-wise. One note on that, I know we asked for, you know, things like gluten-free or vegan or vegetarian, and we will certainly do our best to accommodate those food needs. I do suggest in your packing list, you know, if you do have something like a gluten intolerance, that you do pack some additional snacks for yourself. Nepal is one of the countries that it's basically impossible to find something that is specifically gluten-free. So if it is a gluten intolerance, just bring some snacks. It helps us, you know, when we're in the buses and whatnot, and you need a snack, it's a lot easier, obviously, if you have that with you. Once we're in the village, our ground cooking crew is amazing and are pretty great at accommodating those. But any snack items, I always ask people to bring that. Project goals, we'll talk about the projects a little bit later. we like to say that the projects are not the ultimate reason that we're there. They're an amazing part of the trip, but really our goal for you as a leadership team is to truly be able to immerse yourself into a culture, a new familiar culture, pushing past your comfort zones a lot of times. So accommodations, Ryan's going to talk about those a little bit. They're cozy, but they're really great considering. So get ready for some fun sleeping on the floor. Safety tips. We will cover that too in our orientation. Be sure that you guys are reading your expedition manuals. We've got some things in there. I like to just say be one step more aware of everything when you're traveling internationally and traveling into an unknown region. So just always, we ask that you guys really just be, one more step aware on safety, on your own personal health, on, kind of your surroundings and whatnot. So what to bring. We, in your expedition manual, have provided you a packing list. So hopefully that's a great resource for you to pack by. A lot of times people are asking what size of luggage to bring. I suggest a 70-liter or a 90-liter duffel. Expedition duffel is the best one. Again, that's all in your expedition manual. We desire to help. That's a huge known factor. As a leadership team, again, we are there to ensure you have an amazing experience. So please never feel like you can't, Ryan mentioned that, to reach out to him at any time. That's exactly what we're there for. So the leadership team that will be on your trips, please, please, please utilize them. You can utilize us before the expeditions. Feel free to email me any questions that you have, even if it's something as simple as what kind of socks should I bring. So never apologize for wanting to be inquisitive on things. I'd rather you ask than when we get into country have to try to figure that out. So unknowns, travel delays. Nepal is a bit famous for long travel delays. So again, please be flexible with us. We are going to make it as comfortable as we possibly can for you, and it'll be a great experience, and we'll all be in it together. Village dynamic. We'll talk a little bit about the village and kind of our expectations and your expectations for that. They are different. What's so great about these trips, and again, what's just great about expeditions in general is they are dynamic. So hopefully you're not going into this with a desire for a super structured day. We will provide as many village experiences as we possibly can. I know that's a big piece for us as a team and for you as an expeditioner. So personal health. I cannot stress this enough. This is very important that you are very mindful of your own health. We will have an EMT on the trip with us, and we just ask that on that trip that you are very open and honest with us if there's an issue. If you need to pull one of our leadership team aside, woman, man, whatever, so you feel more comfortable, please don't wait 3 days after having a headache, or please don't wait 3 days after being bit by a spider, or things like that. Just please be aware that we want to make sure that everyone's health is good, and that we are all together in this, and we don't want to have anything. And then also be flexible. Understand that people, we may have issues with some health issues, so please be flexible, and we'll accommodate everybody as best we can. Our project pace, that's a big one. Again, I hope you understand that, one big piece for us as dōTERRA is that we go into these projects with the intention to finish them. You're probably not going to finish a project specifically, but know that we aren't going to pick up and leave after your expedition. dōTERRA is committed, along with Choice, to finishing these projects. And, that's something that is very important to us. And I know Corey Lindley, you've heard him talk about when we go into a project, we're not there for a photo op, that we are there to help really build up a village. And we understand that with the co-impact sourcing, we're there for each other. They're there for us, and we're there for them. So please just know that projects can be shifted during the day to something else that's more important, or to something that needs to be done. So again, be patient with us. We're going to give you as much information as we can, as fast as we can, but be ready to kind of jump in wherever is needed. I think that's what's so fun about these trips, is you get to kind of jump in all different paces and whatnot. Our comfort. So we can give you as much information as we know. A big part of your own comfort is going to be just, again, flexibility. So we're going to give you as much information as we possibly can on your sleeping arrangements and on where we're, what our project is. But again, that's just that understanding of being really mindful of your own limitations and whatnot, and know that we're there, again, we're there to be your team. So accidents, we will do our best, and we ask you to do your best on accidents and whatnot. But again, things that arise, unforeseen needs. again, just as a leadership team, we will be there and we'll help you guys in any sense. We just need, open communication is really important on these expeditions. And this is an unknown where it says we will be changed, but we all know that is something that I promise you that I left a huge part of my heart in Nepal when I went. So hopefully you're going to be excited to jump in and do that as well. So, so we're going to briefly run through the summary of our week. And then what I'm going to do is I'll turn it over to Ryan, who's going to specifically talk about our project that we're partnering with Choice on. So please, if you guys can, if you guys have questions, feel free to email us. Again, we don't want you to feel like you're showing up in country with questions. Please send us an email and we'll happily answer those. So our first day, we are arriving into Kathmandu. Hopefully you booked your flight into that Kathmandu airport. We will be sending you an arrival packet that will show you exactly kind of how to get through that airport. It is kind of an experience. If you haven't been to the Kathmandu airport, it's kind of a fun experience that will help guide you right through that. Again, I know everybody's tired after getting off those flights. So we will provide transportation. So once you get outside of the airport, we are there to take care of you from that step on. We will take you guys, we have 2 different hotels that we're staying at based on which week you're on. So Mala Hotel for that first week and then Hotel Shambhala for the second week. They're about 20 to 30 minutes away from the airport, both of them. So quick ride. Just a reminder, we are in shared double rooms. So you will be partnered up with somebody from the same gender in those rooms. Day 2, we're going to wake up and have breakfast at the hotel. They have a beautiful breakfast buffet, plenty of fruit, plenty of protein, so we'll get a great breakfast in. You do have the morning, a couple hours free that morning in Kathmandu. We'll discuss kind of some different options for that as we kind of get into the week. There are a couple places you can take a quick cab to that are great for that. We are going to then leave by coach on a very long 10-hour bus ride. So hopefully we'll be able to get your jet lag out. You'll get some naps in on the way to Ramashop. So we will serve lunch. It'll be probably just a quick box lunch. We really want to push through and make sure that we get you guys to that village. We will arrive into the community that evening. We are going to an area called Rosnalu. I'm not probably saying that right, so maybe Jordan and Ryan will correct me on that. And then we will have dinner. We are sleeping in classrooms. Again, Ryan's going to go through that, but we're going to sleep in. There it is. Jordan's given us. There's the Rosnalu. So again, 10 hours from Kathmandu, so on the east of Nepal. So we will be sleeping in classrooms that evening and for our time in the village. So this is a quick overview of where we're going to be at in the country. Hopefully we've looked up the country map. So we're basically going to go from Kathmandu over to Rosnalu, and then we'll go back into, we're going to go back into Kathmandu following our time in the village, and then we will fly over to Pokhara and back to Kathmandu. So that's just kind of a quick overview of where we are. While we're in the village, again, Ryan's going to cover this. That's where we're going to learn about our wintergreen harvesting and distillation. This is going to be where you get to interact with the local residents and participating in that construction project. Again, know that we are there to do a portion of that project. It will certainly be finished, and we are committed to finishing these schools, which we've given funding to. So it's great to have Choice as a partner there. We know that with Choice as a partner, we're going to be able to see the completion of those first schools getting done, and health clinics and things that we're working on there. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner were served in the village. Again, three full meals you'll be served. If you're a big snacker, we ask that you bring snacks with you, just if you're one that wants a little snack in between. So if that's the case, go ahead and just bring those snacks with you. It's a great time to bring those. So we will head then back to Kathmandu, another 10-hour bus ride. Yay. We will stop for lunch on the way, and then we'll actually have our dinner at Hotel Shambhala. So that, and then back to double shared rooms in that hotel. So, and then this is kind of when we get to just relax and truly enjoy some beautiful views. So our 7th day, we're going to fly to Pokhara. Breakfast is going to be served following our flight. So it's about a 30-minute flight. You're going to have a beautiful afternoon in Pokhara, as you can kind of see in this picture. Those are the views you're going to get to see. So Annapurna Range is there. We kind of call this our kind of mountain experience. So there's some really great things that you can do in Pokhara, and one thing is we'll have some group tours of the lake and the group tours of maybe some shopping in the area. Feel free to Google dōTERRA. There's some options there too. And we'll give you some great preferred providers if you want to do some different experiences and activities there. So we'll go ahead and stay the night in dōTERRA, and then we'll wake up in the morning, breakfast again at the hotel. And then you've actually got quite a bit of time that morning to really just dive into dōTERRA and experience that beautiful location. So that's the morning where if you want to do an optional glider flight, again, that's not included in your expedition fee. That would be something separate. If you are planning to do any activities in dōTERRA, if you'll just touch base with us, we can work on having preferred providers and that whatnot. It helps us just to know we can give you guys some great suggestions. We will then fly back to Kathmandu that afternoon, again, quick 30 minutes. Then we will have our farewell dinner and wrap up our big expedition. So that will be back at the Hotel Shambhala. The following morning is your last morning in Kathmandu. So that is when you breakfast at the hotel again. And then depending on when you're flying out, this is when a lot of our attendees have loved to do what we call the optional Everest flyover. So if you are really wanting to see Everest, this is a great option for that. I will say it goes at about, you leave the hotel about 5 a.m. It flies out about 6 a.m. It's a pretty quick flight. So, if you have a flight kind of at 10 a.m. or later, this is a great thing to do in the morning. It actually goes out of the same airport as you are going to be flying out of. So that's one. I will put the little bug in your ear on that. If you do decide to book that with us, we'll do it straight through us to help you do that because we have a preferred provider there. I will say it's not cancelable. So just make sure if you're going to do it, either you do it or you kind of eat the funds on that. So once we book those tickets, they aren't cancelable. It's a regular airline ticket. So again, that's optional. It's not included in your expedition experience, but and then it's also weather permitting. Just please know that sometimes they aren't able to actually do the flight because of weather. So and then you've got free time there to explore Kathmandu. I know a couple of you are planning on staying a little later. So this is a great time to go, and we can provide you some taxi cards and whatnot to get you kind of to some of the fun places around the hotel. Transportation to the airport is provided on that departure day. So please, if you haven't sent us your flights, this is a great time for me to put a bug in your ear to send us your flights. And that's kind of an overview of our day. You'll see some weather patterns in the 2 areas that we're going. I always suggest layers, and you'll see that in your packing lists. Bring layers is because sometimes it's cool at morning and night, and then can get pretty warm in the middle of the day. So.
Yeah, just to touch base on that too, it will change throughout the day quite a bit.
Right.
Early morning, it'll be chilly, and by mid-afternoon, you may be in short sleeve shirt.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Repeat.
Yeah, and then you want to put back your jacket. And sometimes at night, when I was there, sometimes it's really hot and sometimes it's freezing. So you just want to, again, I just suggest lots of layers, lots of light layers that you can kind of have in your pack with you. Something that's waterproof if it does rain. We will be kind of walking over to the wintergreen. One thing that Jared didn't kind of touch on is our wintergreen area. So we are within walking distance of kind of our main wintergreen producing area. So when we go to visit that wintergreen distillation and harvesting, that will be a walk. So make sure you've got those good hiking shoes and walking shoes. And then again, I always like to just make sure I have jacket in my bag. You'll see, again, we did some call outs on an email to you on the packing list of some things just to make sure that you're really packing. We are serious about our packing list, so make sure you do follow that. I'm going to turn the time over again to Ryan so he can talk about this project that we're doing, and so you guys can kind of understand what a cool experience this will be to be able to help rebuild.
Well, thanks, Alyssa. Yeah, so where we'll be in the village in Rasnala Lalu is a very high yielding wintergreen producing area. We will be able to go and see where it is produced, where it's distilled throughout the time that we're there in the village. Also part of the project there will be us working with some of the villagers on this school project where we'll be reconstructing and reconfiguring what they have currently into making it so that there are more classrooms to be able to house more students. there are many students in this village, and they really need that. So part of that will be, you know, reconstructing what is there. There will also be new construction with digging, laying foundation work, painting, minor carpentry, hauling, some, you know, bending over work as well. And just really, we'll be switching through to, we won't be sticking one person on the one job the entire time that they're there. This is also being sponsored by the Healing Hands Foundation as well. So like Alyssa was mentioning earlier, these projects are starting and they will be completed. Maybe not so much on your specific expedition, but through the course of expeditions, this will be completed. So yeah, so we're going to want to be able to take care of ourselves while we're there too. If we have any issues, or if you have any issues during this project work, please let us know. We don't want anyone to be overworked or injured while they're working. So yeah, just let us know of your needs and also of your abilities while you're there. This is a picture of one of the completed schools of last year in Lamjung. And this is something similar to what we will be working on as well. And so here, these are just a few pictures of village life. Some of the eating facilities down in the bottom, you'll see some of the accommodations, sleeping quarters. You know, usually we have a communal kitchen where we'll all go get our food and we'll sit down and eat together. Also pictures of bathroom facilities, you know, pretty closely knit living experience. So it's fun. And down below here as well, there are a few more pictures of some of the working. Jordan, can you put
Yeah, and maybe Ryan, do you just want to add a little bit of context to what camp life looks like in the community in terms of what are participants going to want to make sure that they bring in terms of sleeping pads, sleeping bag?
Definitely.
Typically broken down in the classrooms. Maybe describe just briefly the experience with the bathroom kind of squatty potty situation, as well as talk to options for bathing and storing secure items and charging electricity, just so they can get a sense of what does group camping look like on an expedition.
Group camping on an expedition is just that. We have a set space that we all need to share and work together in. If you can look at that lower center picture, it's typically set out like that. There'll be usually we'll be lined up next to one another in our rooms or our facility that we'll be staying at. Typically we have a pad, a ground sheet as well. If you are if you need a soft cushion for sleeping, it might be wise to bring an air mattress, like a backpacking air mattress that can be compressed down, easy to store and travel with, but also gives you a little more comfort sleeping. Sleeping bags are what I recommend. If you're not super accustomed to sleeping in a sleeping bag, I would recommend getting a square foot sleeping bag and not a mummy bag. This will allow you to roll and sleep more freely. Yeah, we'll need to be responsible for our space since we will be living together. Manage your space, keep it tidy. That'll also help in your own day-to-day, knowing where things are, not losing them. People won't be tripping over them as well. Bathroom, very typical over in these areas. We use a squatty potty. It's not a normal toilet to sit down. This is actually squatting, and that's their jam there. And so pretty basic. You do what you need to do there, and you take care of it after you're done. Charging material, there will be electricity there. It's 220, so you can bring converters. There will be converters there as well. We'll need to work amongst ourselves to manage time on the power areas for charging, both during the day, at night. And once again, too, just managing your own things, keeping them, safeguarded and put away, so that they don't present an opportunity possibly for someone, and just so that they aren't lost. But yeah, it's typically very closely knit. And here's some more pictures of village life, working together with other participants and expeditioners, as well as with villagers. There's a picture of digging trenches to lay down foundation work, wall building with the bricks, working together in the schools with many of the children and the teachers. There's going to be time too to interact with the villagers. There'll be a lot of time to interact with the villagers, both during work, during free time. It's one of the best experiences on the trip, and just sharing time together and sharing your excitement to be there with them. They'll love it. You'll love it.
And one thing I would add is that your day is typically broken up in the following manner. You'll wake up in the morning and do an earlier breakfast, usually starting around 7 up until about 8 or 8:30. There's typically a half an hour or so of regrouping for the day. And then we usually kick the day off with an overview of how we're going to divide up amongst ourselves as a group, what phase of project we'll be working on. And then we'll go off in our respective groups to work on that phase of project, then come back, eat lunch, regroup. And it's usually in the afternoon that the day takes 2 different directions. Some folks might go back to work on additional phases of the project. And then there's usually organic and sometimes organized opportunities to interact with the community, to learn with the community, sometimes to play games with community members, or maybe even walk and go visit different parts of the community. And so you can usually expect those afternoons to be broken up between projects and activities, and work tends to wrap up early evening, usually around 4 or 5 o'clock, to then go have dinner and then regroup together for reflections, learning opportunities, which you can kind of see here. And Ryan, I don't know if you want to add any more to what the learning and celebrating might look like on this expedition.
Yeah, a lot of these opportunities just present themselves. We do have a very broad itinerary in each morning and throughout the week, but as the day goes on, opportunities present themselves. Sometimes we'll peel off to go meet with certain people because they're processing this certain thing, or someone needs help, or there's an opportunity to go visit someone passing through this village. There's all kinds of opportunities. So that's part of the flexibility that Alyssa talked about is, as things present themselves, we're going to adapt to those things to benefit everyone. But yeah, that's it.
And one other item I'll add that will be a big part of this expedition is on the learning side. And so there will be the opportunity to learn quite a bit in tandem with your intercultural activities and project work about primarily wintergreen sourcing, co-impact sourcing, as well as the broader Healing Hands investment into the area. So there will be opportunities to learn about how that works, how that's structured. Some of that learning will be formal opportunities that we do together as a group. And some of that learning is going to take place as you spend time with village members, community leaders, and particularly your dōTERRA and choice teams and leadership teams. And so a lot of opportunities for that, as well as celebrating together with the community, both your welcome and your farewell from your time in the village.
Yeah, and each evening there's usually time made to share experiences from throughout the day, from different groups, different people's thoughts, things that they saw that presented themselves to them. So that's a good time to share how you're feeling or, you know, learn.
Perfect. Thanks you guys so much. As you can see that, you know, we choose Choice because of their expertise on the ground in these areas, and as well as their understanding about the importance of the things that are going on in the world, and how, you know, they're impacting together with our dōTERRA group. So it's a great partnership, and we're so excited always to have these guys as part of our team. So we want to talk really quick about the successful expeditioner, which is what you guys will all be, of course. We've talked about flexibility, and you'll probably be so sick of that word by the end of our expeditions, as we constantly remind everybody about flexibility and adaptability, but we just really want you guys to be prepared to go into these expeditions with that understanding. And again, we're making these decisions about flexibility and adaptability because we want to make sure that you're having the best experience that you possibly can. Sometimes that means because there's an issue and we have to make a change for safety. Sometimes it's, hey, we want to make sure you get to have this really great experience over here. And so please just help us by not trying to stick so tight to maybe what you in your mind think a day is going to go. We're going to provide you some personal downtime as well to make sure that, you know, as you know, one of the big things we want to ensure you guys are doing is truly disconnecting and kind of stepping out of your comfort zone. We'll talk about that kind of at the orientation as well, but we want you to put your phones down. We will have photographers with us on these trips, and we, as part of the flexibility, is making sure you're being flexible with kind of your thoughts about what you're going to do during the day. It makes it really great to be in a dynamic expedition. So flexibility there's a reason it's on the top of that chart. It does come into play on every expedition we've ever been on. So we're gonna do our best to make sure that you are aware and up to date on the things that are going on, but just be very careful. Mindfulness. One thing we want to talk about, you as a dōTERRA wellness advocate, you're an ambassador. You're an ambassador for dōTERRA. You're an ambassador for your country you're from. You're an ambassador for Choice. We ask that you guys be very mindful and understanding that we, as part of our commitment to these projects, we have people there before a trip doing all this planning and you know, organizing these areas, especially here where like our wintergreen is coming from. We have people on the ground during our expedition, and we have people there after. So please be mindful that you're a very important piece of the puzzle, but we have to leave a team there, and they have to then you know, continue these projects. So we want to just be very mindful of our actions and be very respectful of cultural differences, and making sure that you're just kind of, again, just being mindful of kind of one step more than you would normally be. What's great about being mindful as well is it helps you catch great experiences. I always find myself, the more mindful I am, the more I find I'm able to kind of get different experiences that maybe I would have missed if I was kind of being a little bit more broad on things. So being, you know, just really making sure that you're there as an ambassador and being kind of the best that we can be, in the sense that we do want to make sure that we're able to continue supporting these projects, and we want to always leave them wanting more from us, and being like, wow, it's great to have these expeditioners here, and really just making sure that we're providing that beautiful ambassadorship that we know we can. Sense of humor, I think that goes with flexibility. I think that kind of flexibility and sense of humor always go together, right? But again, just really being pretty relaxed about how our days possibly could go. I promise you that we will give you every possible experience we can. If we see an opportunity, we're gonna do it. We're there to, again, give you that environment for really getting to experience something amazing. So just, you know, again, just being mindful, and obviously those three things go together. And I can't stress enough the importance of, you know, knowing yourself, knowing your health, your safety, your security, and communicating with us constantly about that. So that will help us give you what you need, and us making sure we have a great expedition for everyone involved. So, all right. So Some really important rules that we want to make sure, again, in line with being mindful and being ambassadors of the company and of where we're from. No gifts. So you'll read about this a little bit in our expedition manual. You know, one thing that we want to make sure is we're coming into these communities that we're not creating environments or situations that when we depart will be detrimental to that community. So no gifts is anything from a candy to a child to making, you know, a large donation to a villager. We will provide you, I know we love how generous our wellness advocates are. Let us provide you the correct channels for that. So if you want to bring a bunch of sporting equipment that you can interact with the village children and village adults with, and then you're like, hey, I really want to leave this for them. Great, that's amazing. And we will certainly help you with that. Just please check in with Ryan or check in with your expedition leaders. Let us provide the correct, or we'll provide you the correct channels for that. And we will make sure that gets into the hands. You know, there's something, you know, village dynamic when, you know, we can't possibly bring one for every person in the village. We know that. So when we give a gift to somebody, it kind of creates we don't ever want to create a dependency model for us to leave for groups to go into. We also never want to create an unfairness within a home, a familial relationship or a village relationship. So again, we realize like your generous heart, you just want to give, and that's awesome. But let's just make sure that we're doing it through the correct channels. And even, you know, you'll see we talk about interactive things. So that is vital. When we say interactive, it's, again, part of that is just for you, because that way you're literally interacting with the village. So, you know, nail polish or games that you can do. Sidewalk chalk is a fun one. Jump ropes. Again, all things where you're actually interacting versus just kind of giving something to someone. That's where we want to focus. And then if you'd like to leave those items, great. We'll do that with the proper channels. No proselytizing. Again, we are there as ambassadors of dōTERRA, and that is kind of our main, what pulls us together. We ask no proselytizing to communal villagers and our choice team, as well as each other. So we all have great strengths and we all want to share them, and we all share different beliefs. So again, this is our common focus and a responsibility are to this great expedition and being able to interact with each other and the people of the villages. No promises. This falls in line again with no gifts. Kind of that same thing of, again, generous hearts, and that's amazing. Hopefully you're utilizing the Healing Hands Foundation to do that. Again, we know that sometimes you want to make a promise, and then unfortunately a lot of times what happens is people go home, they get busy, they're unable to fulfill that kind of promise, and then we kind of break a community trust, and we want to be sure that we're leaving a very safe and wonderful environment that our continued support team gets to be a part of. So just please help us. We'll keep reminding you about those. And again, things like that maybe you just don't think about, but you know, if you have bubbles and you're playing bubbles with the children, make sure you bring the bubbles back with you. You know, giving one, it may not seem like a big deal to give bubbles to one child, but if that child goes home and they're the only child in their home that has bubbles, it just can create some issues that we don't want to have that happen for us or for them. So pretty big rules. Hopefully we can keep them. Additional reading, please make sure you're checking that trip itinerary. You've received your expedition manual, which has the specific Nepal appendix in it. Again, we are your leadership team. Please ask us questions. If you have any additional follow-ups to that, we're available to answer those. So. And then I think, is that us wrapped up, Jordan?
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be our last slide. So again, we cannot, all of us who have been to Nepal, you know, we just cannot, we're just beaming with excitement because it's an amazing country. Be prepared to just kind of check out and be able to leave a really big part of your heart in Nepal. The choice team there is amazing. The dōTERRA team that you'll be with is a great team, and they're so excited to join you as well. So again, we hope that you'll physically prepare for this trip, but packing and all the important things that are in that expedition manual, and also emotionally and whatnot, preparing for this trip to really be able to step outside of yourself and, step outside of comfort zones and be able to just truly experience a beautiful country, and one that we're incredibly proud to be able to support through the Healing Hands donations. And again, we're there for the long run, so we're excited for you just to see a part of that with us. Ryan or Jordan, anything you'd like to add?
No, wonderful summary. Thanks, and we look forward to seeing you all in Nepal.
All right. See you guys.
Talk with everyone.